Right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Season 3 reveal and pre-season tournament. I'm joined by Tom, or Blumchum, as he's more formally known in the sim racing world. How are we doing?
Yeah, man, good.
Right, bear with me. We're just going to fire some links out there. Let's fire some links out there. Tell us a little bit about how you felt Season 2 went, whilst I sort this out.
Season 2? Well, you're speaking to the mediocre driver. I finished 10th, but you can't get more mediocre than me. No, Season 2 was good. I missed a couple of races, but what I did race of it was always good fun. And I think most people who are in the league will agree we had a fairly even split across the field. You know, you had your drivers 1 to 10 were doing pretty well to give us some close racing pretty much every single race. There was only 1 or 2 races where we had a standout performer that sort of zoomed off down the road. But yeah, looking forward to another exciting season. And obviously we've got some newish guys, some people we haven't seen race with us regularly before, maybe as reserves and just stepping in, but they're now going to be taking full-time seats, which will be nice to see. And of course, all new teams and teammates, which we'll be getting to in a second, plus a new calendar to announce as well. But yeah, the main focus at the moment is going to be on tonight's tournament for me, because yeah, I've got a point to prove there.
I love that. Got a point to prove. Right, let me just load this up on the computer in front of me, just so I can see if there's any comments coming in. If you guys could just let us know that you can hear us both okay before we get too deep.
If you can't, we don't really care.
Nah, there is that as well. So, as far as Season 2 went, Tom summed it up pretty well. There was some good racing all round. The racing quality improved massively throughout the season, and there was some absolutely excellent driving, some great battles happening all the way throughout. But I think we've got some Season 2 awards as that opened up. Oh, you're very quiet, Tom. Dan said you're very quiet.
Well, fuck
Connor's
Dan.
in the... What a way to start.
Turn his volume up.
Oh, by the way, happy birthday to Dan, Era 6, who will be driving tonight. It's his birthday, so, you know, it'd be nice for him to get some points on his birthday. Everyone wants to see
Even
that.
more impressive that he's doing this live from Turkey. He's gone over for his, see his fan, spend birthday with them. So it's like 11 o'clock there. Well done, Dan.
Turn that microphone up, Tom Blum.
You got to turn it up, man. Just up me on the, the voice chat.
No, I'm on it. Right, anyways, so Season 2 awards. This is just something that throughout the season we've been collecting various little statistics. Just have a little chat for us, Tom. Make sure you're up a bit more.
Testing 1, 2. Does this please Dan?
I think that'll please Dan.
Let me know, Dan. I'm sure it'll be fine. Anyways, you crack on, man.
So, Season 2 awards. Naturally, there's a few awards that we've got to announce really for Season 2, and they are the Victories Award, the Fastest Lap Award, Pole Position Award, Podium Award. Obviously, Constructors, Drivers, and Drivers' Choice Award have all been announced already. Daniel Grimmer, I can see the game. Yeah, damn straight. Play many games. But the first award is the Victories Award, and that this driver actually won a quarter of the races fairly early on in the season, but he won a quarter of the overall races, so he had 24 races, and Joseph Morados picked up the Victories Award by winning 6 of those 24 races. I hope you're clapping.
Clapping something.
Tom, do you want to do the Fastest Lap Award?
I'll let you do the Fastest Lap Award. Fastest Lap. So this guy got 3 Fastest Lap over the season. So again, 24 races. No, it was only 12 races. You can only get Fastest Lap in the feature race, wasn't it?
In the feature race, yeah.
Yeah, we only counted it towards this award for the feature race. Which again, to be quite consistent over a feature race, 50%, quite impressive. Congratulations to Angry Dutch guy, Albert, our good friend Albert. Well done there, buddy. 3 Fastest Laps amongst the feature races for you there. So be looking to add to that tally, I should think, quite early on in the season, and we'll see how because he's quite a consistent driver, isn't Albert? So he's
he is indeed.
He'll be adding to that, I'm sure.
So the next award is the Pole Position Award. This is the driver. This is essentially the driver who earns the most pole positions throughout the season for the sprint race or the 25% race, the first race of the evening that we do. This is an interesting one actually because relatively new driver to the league, joined halfway through season 2 as a reserve, and then took on a full-time seat as soon as one became available. And with 3 pole position awards, Quick Killers takes that one himself. So fantastic work from him.
Even more impressive because he joined late.
Yeah, he joined late, came in with some excellent pace in qualifying and some blistering laps.
Man be quick.
It was absolutely man's quick. And then the final award that we haven't obviously already announced in Drivers' Championship, Constructors or Drivers' Choice is the Podium Award, if you'd like to, Tom.
Oh, you'd like me to do that one?
Damn straight. Get on your knees.
Damn straight. Get on your knees. God, I haven't heard that enough at work today. Jeez. Right, Podium Award. As you can probably tell by the smugness of his voice, your main man, A. Riley 93 here, and this is impressive, again, considering 24 races. He was on the podium for half of those. That's 12 podiums, people. 12! Again, no doubtably a well-deserved champion as well, we must say. It's consistent throughout the whole... That guy, 12 podiums, banging them in week after week, showed us exactly how to do it, even though he's actually pretty slow when it comes to that pace.
On one lap pace, yes, I'll take that.
One lap pace, but no, a very good racing driver, and well done, Aaron, for achieving that. That is very impressive.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So,
anyways, moving on. Let's move this on a little wee bit here. Should we move on to the calendar? Let's keep these people waiting. Let's move on to the calendar.
Calendar's good.
Calendar.
Do you want to do the first half?
I'll do the first half, the first rounds 1 to 6. So we're going to keep it very much the same. Season 3, as we've explained, is going to stay very much the same. Minor changes to the reprimand system, etc., for the drivers, obviously, just to, maybe take a little bit more care where they can do. But the calendar for Season 3 will consist of 6 tracks that we haven't actually raced in LNR, and then 6 tracks voted for by the drivers in LNR. And then it has been completely randomised and put into an order. So round 1 will be held in Russia, much the same as tonight's round, really, in Russia. Yeah. Round 2 will be taking place in Brazil. That was a circuit, I think, voted for by the drivers. Round 3, we always have at least one street circuit, and that, this season, will be Jeddah. Round 4 will see us go to Spa. Round 5, another circuit we're yet to race in LNR in any of the seasons, is Mexico. And round 6 is Hungary, just before the break. And it's important to add that in the first half of the season, round 4, which is Belgium, will be a 5-lap sprint quali round determined by a reverse championship grid order. After the break then, Tom?
Following the break, we'll be heading down under. Round 7 will be in Australia, again a race that we haven't done yet in LLR. Round 8 will see us return to Italy, Monza. We did Imola last season, so back in Monza for this season. Round 9 will be Austria, a fan favourite I believe there, voted by the drivers, one of my favourite tracks as well. It should be said, sorry, round 8 Monza will be a 5-lap quali as well, 5-lap sprint quali. Round 10, Silverstone, again a fan favourite there, voted for by the drivers, classic track, looking forward to getting back there. Round 11 will be Bahrain, which will be your final 5-lap sprint quali, and then fittingly we'll round out the season in Abu Dhabi. Again, a track that we haven't raced yet, but typically obviously your final track of the real F1 season. We thought we'd stick that at the end. That's the only track that hasn't been randomised. We just like the idea of doing that one last. So that is your 12 race calendar, season spanning from all the way the 15th of March up until the 10th of May. You've got like 3 solid months of racing there, and then obviously we'll probably be able to squeeze one more season in before the new game comes out, won't we?
We probably will do, yeah.
A shorter season probably, but we'll speak about that as we get closer to it. Right, should we get on what everyone's actually here to listen to? Everyone's here to listen to,
what everyone's here to find out about is Connor's comment in the chat there, who got the spoon.
Oh.
So.
Who did get the spoon? Who was that? Who was that? I don't know who that was.
Well, yeah. Happy birthday, Dan. Hope you had a great day.
Had a great day.
Anyways, on to it then. So as you can see on the screen here, we're looking at that absolutely stunning black Mercedes floating around in our wonderful LNR showroom. So without further ado, let's crack on with this. I'll do Mercedes and then we'll flick over, Tom, and you can tell me who the next team are going to be.
All right.
So the draw was done at random to a degree. So we took all 20 drivers that are registered for Season 3, put them into driver pools, and then drew them with the appropriate pool of drivers. That wasn't necessarily just down to your finishing position in the standings. That was down to all the statistics we'd picked up throughout the season. So, 1 lap pace in qualifying, fastest laps accrued in various races. Obviously, yes, the standings came into it, but equally it was consistency. Various different things came into how these drivers were laid out, because we had a few drivers that didn't actually take part the whole season, came in at the end, and maybe were not quite deserving of the pool that they would have been in had we have just gone off the standings. So we've done it in this way to try and make it as fair as possible. There are some teams, however, that I'm looking at on this screen right now thinking that they're going to be a really quite a dangerous pairing for the season. But without further ado, Mercedes. So driving the Mercedes, we are going to see one of the admin team, and that is Dunners5, who's been drawn in the Mercedes, and his partner will be a newcomer to a full-time seat, but he has reserved with us many times before, and we've really enjoyed having him around, and that is Stander. So that will be your Mercedes pairing. So actually, that's a very good pairing now, I think. Let's just flick to the next car in the line. And Tom, it is Red Bull.
Red Bull, easy. Okay, Red Bull. So a driver here that was very, very consistent and picked up some good podium finishes. I know I had a good couple of battles with him on the track as well, and look forward to doing the same this year. First seat in the Red Bull goes to Ryan 1995. So you enjoy that Red Bull, buddy. And your teammate for the season is going to be none other than Woolsey. Woolsey, who had a very consistent season in the Alpine last year, and again some great battles on track. Looking like a very strong team indeed, that Red Bull.
It is indeed. Moving on then, we have the all-important McLaren. A team that were looking set at the start of the season to take this year's Constructors' Championship. They were almost unstoppable. But unfortunately, due to technical issues and house-moving issues, they had to take a little bit of a break away from F1 for a little while. But this season, we see a complete change in the driver lineup for the McLaren team. This season, we're going to see former Aston Martin driver Mad Max take the first seat in the McLaren, and in seat 2, once again, we've mentioned him before in this stream, he won himself an award. It's Quick Killers. So these guys, actually, the seat that Quick Killers took towards the end of season 2 was the Aston Martin. So these guys are continuing their partnership, and they're going to go for a full season together. It's Mad Max and Quick Killers taking that orange beast.
Yep, they're going to be good. I can feel it.
That's one of the teams I'm looking at thinking that could be quite dangerous.
Yeah.
Consistent.
Who's next, man?
And dangerous. So the next team is going to be Aston Martin, Tom. Aston Martin. You've got a little soft spot in your heart for the Aston Martin team, haven't you?
No, not really.
You won the constructors with them.
Okay. Yeah, it weren't them, it was all me. Aston Martin. Right, Aston Martin, you guys are in for a treat this season because you're having none other than the Lebanese wonder sorting you guys out. Joseph Mrados in the Aston Martin, ladies and gentlemen. Gonna tear shit up in that green beast. Joseph will be joined by none other than a developing driver, I think it's fair to say. That would be Mr. JC90, who we know quite well, one of our work colleagues, and he's going to be looking to improve on some good results he had last year. He got some good top 10 finishes towards the end of the season. A little bit more confidence needed, but I'm sure we'll be seeing him up the standings a bit further this year. So that's going to be Joseph Mrados and Mr. JC90 gracing us with the Aston Martin green colours.
Aye. And he is ginger. Just got to put that out there. So you don't want to piss off a ginger in Aston Martin either. I've heard that said.
He's got no soul.
Anyway, moving on. This is a stunning car. The Alpine. Now, the team for Alpine, once again, another driver who's relatively new to the league, came full time towards the end of season 2, and was undoubtedly one of the top drivers towards the end. He was very, very quick, and the first seat in the Alpine will go to, I don't know if he's going to like this, it's going to be Jimmer. It was all drawn at random, ladies and gentlemen. You couldn't write it. You couldn't write it.
It really was. Never mind that.
And his teammate for this season will be the legendary Niter SJ, the man who likes all of the tyres during the races.
Just like experimenting, really, doesn't he?
Just can't blame him. Can't blame him. Sometimes you just got to try something different.
Let's crack through this, because I think everyone's getting a little bit antsy, you know.
Well then, it's up to you then. Ferrari, far away.
Ferrari. Oh, excellent. Right, this will be fun. Right, Ferrari. So the reigning constructors champions. No more, I can tell you. Right, I'll be in the Ferrari. All right, I'm quite happy to dog on myself there. They're fucked this season. All right, they're not going to do well, because you've got your main man in them. But joining me in the Ferrari, who I'm sure is going to overshadow me massively, Grimmy. Lucky you, buddy. You get to carry me all season.
See, once again, this is a good partnership,
Grimmy,
I feel.
But Grimmy
another good.
had some good results towards the end of the season. I'm going to be relying on him to pick up those good podium finishes while I can mill about in 5th and 6th and places like that. So, no pressure, buddy. It's all on you.
There we go. So Blum and Grimmy both in the Ferrari this season. Next up, we have the AlphaTauri team. The AlphaTauri team will consist, once again, of another top driver from last season. He is, in fact, season 2 runner-up, and that is RP Lai. So, once again, a proven quick driver, and that is a stunning car. We say it every time we do one of these reveals. Love the AlphaTauri. Alongside him will be none other than Drew. Drew Decam 6 will be joining RP Lai as his teammate in the AlphaTauri for season 3. So that's once again another good team. Drew has good consistency about him, and in fact picked himself up his maiden LNR victory last season, I believe in Baku. So hopefully we'll see plenty more of that. Moving on then to try and get through them now, we have the All-in Alfa Romeo.
Alfa Romeo. So we're going to see LFC Jakey in the Alfa Romeo, and his teammate in the Alfa Romeo is going to be Connor. So again, quite a strong team there. LFC Jakey, I believe, took a little break from the league. Was in that McLaren team that we were talking about that was doing pretty well, but then tailed off towards the end of the season. Looking to come back strong with the Alfa Romeo team now. And then Connor picked up some good results towards the end of the season as well. So looking like a strong team there as well.
It is indeed. That is another strong team. We saw Connor making some fantastic moves through Portugal in that opening lap, of which you guys will probably all see because the season 2 highlights are underway. They are in production as we speak, so I am trying to get that sorted, and we should see them by the weekend.
Coming soon.
Oh, coming soon. Anyway, moving on then, we have Haas. Now, the Haas, Tom's former car, absolutely loved it because it looks like a tube of toothpaste. Driving the Haas, we have the winner of the fastest lap award. It's Angry Dutch Guy will be taking seat 1 in the Haas this season. And partnering alongside him, another driver that we've seen slowly picking up the pace, in fact, last season, Jackie, who I believe managed to get himself... did he get a victory last season? I get the feeling that he did.
Yeah, he did. He got a wet race win in Austria. And I know he's stuck in third, and I watched him cross the line.
He did, yes. Yeah, so he took his maiden LNR victory last season, so he'll be looking to continue that and hopefully back Albert up, and the pair of them will make an absolutely fantastic team as well.
One team left there, that'd be Williams.
One team left, indeed.
Gonna call this the bread team or the sandwich team, because you've got your driver's champion, the main man himself, A. Riley 93, Aaron, in the Williams. Congratulations. And then the wooden spoon, Daniel, Error 6. So literally the glue that holds this league together, the top and the bottom, the crown and the heel, in the Williams there, and nice class drive actually. If you go cockpit view, you get the cool steering wheel with the no screen in it.
Oh.
But yeah, good fun.
There
good
we
fun.
go. So
good
that
season
is
ahead. Some very strong teams there.
That is the season 3 driver lineup, and in fact, it does look like a very, very equal lineup. I think it's going to be a very, very tight season, and that's fairly safe to say. The teams look very well balanced. There's a good amount of. There's just going to be some cracking battles, I think.
Mm.
Do you agree?
Sorry, was you expecting me to be a bit more enthusiastic? I'm sorry, mate.
You're very unenthusiastic. Are you in full race focus now?
The helmet's just gone on.
The helmet's just gone. Okay.
The helmet's just gone on. All right, buddy.
You are a helmet. Get yourself down to that car, dude, and send me an invite to that lobby.
Okay, man. You're not in the lobby yet. You suck. No.
I'm in the theatre screen, man. Bear with me. I think I've got an invite. No, I haven't. Yes, I have.
I just sent you one. That was so dramatic.
God, Christ. Anyways, we are ready for 4 rounds of
Dan, if you can hear me, you've got qualifying set to short, you muppet.
Unbelievable. We give him one job, don't we?
I swear to God.
And it looks like we are just about ready to get underway, I think.
When he sorts his shit out, yeah. I'm really grumpy tonight. I'm sorry.
You do sound very grumpy. I don't know why I invited you to this. God, put down on everything. Anyways, you get yourself across to the driver's chat.
Polite way of telling me to fuck off. I get it. Okay, no problem.
And I'm going to do my job. Oh, and actually, we're joined by the Mechanico and Scotty taking their seats in the McLarens this evening for the tournament. They're both going to have a drive down there. Our current league commentators, and we're delighted to have them back for next season, along with our excellent stewarding team. So we are super, super glad that they are sticking around with LNR. Bye, Tom. Tom has now left. He's got himself down. I say down. I don't really know where he's gone. He might have just sat down. But he's got himself in his Ferrari. Most of the drivers now choosing to pick their new cars for the new season. A couple of the guys have taken their cars from the old season. So, to be fair, for me, it's just going to be completely random. In fact, yes, it looks completely random. No, but anyway, it's good to see. This is a purely an individual tournament. So, we can have one champion at the end of it. But I'm sure it's going to be an exciting one. Let's just check that the guys are ready. So, anyways, tonight's tournament, let's get on to that, because whilst we wait for these guys, they're readying up now. We're going to have one shot quali, so I'm not going to be able to pan through and find out exactly who is going to be sitting on pole. We are just going to have to deal with it as it comes. So we're going to be seeing who crosses the line. We'll deal with that at the end. But the rounds for this evening, we're going to be having a 25% race in Russia, 25% race in Spa, 25% of the Netherlands, and a 25% Spain. Each race will be determined by a reverse grid championship order. Standard F1 point scoring applies. So we will ignore scoring for the first race, and we will revisit that in the lobby at the end of this round. So you can see the drivers readying up now to take to the circuit of Sochi Autodrome, which is previously known as the Sochi International Street Circuit. For anyone who is interested, it's a 3.6 mile circuit around the streets of I think it was the Olympic Park they originally had there. Anyways, it's in actually quite a nice area of Russia, but we will just get some notes up in regards to that, so I can kind of try and guide you around the circuit as these boys take to it. This seems like a good one to use. Right, the drivers will just let them guys select their setups. Now, we remember last time we had a tournament, it was RP Lai who took the crown as such. Once again, he will be looking to get himself an excellent start tonight, and he has got some really tough competition this evening with the likes of Jimmer, Quick Killers, both on the grid. We know that they've got blistering 1 lap pace, but over 1 lap without a warm-up, who will be the one to take the top spot? So we jump on with reserve driver for this season, Sir Jake. We're going to switch it up a little bit, and we're going to go to spectator menu, and we're going to have a little ride on board with RP Lai. Let's skip across to him. And as you can see on the left-hand side, you might be able to just gauge exactly where people are sitting. But RP Lai taking his Aston Martin around the circuit of Sochi as he now enters turn 4. Comes out of there, gets a nice exit from turn 4 as he heads down to the nice right-hander of turn 5. A tough one here. You can easily invalidate the lap there. Just keeps it nicely in bounds, as we can see. He's just using all the width of the circuit there. Very interesting circuit this, because you wouldn't necessarily expect it to flow. Connor there retiring from the session. Something's happened to him as RP looks like he just gets a little bit of a slip from the rear end. Doesn't want to be getting too much of that. You don't want to light those rear wheels up too much around here, because you do lose an awful amount of time. It's such a high-speed circuit, but it feels almost super unorthodox to be able to, you're chucking the car one way then the other. It does put a fair amount of pressure on the tyres, so you want to be careful. Now we're into the technical sector 3 of this circuit, just being careful not to invalidate this corner here. Up the crest, you can barely see the apex on entry. You're looking out for that orange sausage curb on the left hand side, but takes it really nicely. This is looking like a really decent lap. Currently he's sitting P3. Blumchum looking like he's got P1 sewn up. We should be able to find out in just a few seconds as Blum crosses the line. 1:31.786, and it's RP Lai puts himself in third, and it's Blumchum who takes pole position for round 1 of the pre-season 3 tournament here at the Sochi Autodrome. So you heard him say it in this in the chat just a second ago. 1:31.7, a surprise there. We see Jimmer, Drew both disqualified, so invalidating their lap times, and I believe the last place on the grid there, Connor, with no time, obviously having an issue somewhere along the line there. Mechanical finds himself P11, but we will look and we'll run through the starting grid for this race. So P1 is Blumchum 89. P2 alongside him is Quick Killer, someone we expected to be quick. RP Lai, another driver we expected to be up there in P3. P4 goes the way of Ryan, and P5 to Jake. 6 goes the way of Scotty 1597, one of our other commentators. Look out for those orange cars, because they are our commentating team. Angry Dutch Guy takes P7, Grimmy in P8. P9 goes the way of Wolsey. Stander, new full-time driver to the league in his Mercedes, rounds out the top 10. 11th goes the way of Mechanical. Error 6 takes P12. Jimmer 13th. Drew Cam 14th, both with disqualifications, and an unfortunate incident for Connor means he starts at the back of the field. So we're just going to wait for these drivers to get themselves ready now. Set their cars up exactly how they want them. I'm going to crack another beer because it's well earned before I have to start shouting and hollering at all sorts of random action on the circuit. And we will await the start of this race. So it's the formation lap then. We're going to ride with Blumchum, purely because, I hate to say it, but he called it. And his 1 lap pace around this circuit is pretty good, I will give him that. We've just run through the grid order, so we won't necessarily need to do that again, but we can definitely take a little look at what tyres these guys are starting on. So the tyres we have, everyone on softs apart from Angry Dutch Guy in P7 on the medium tyres. So he's going to be looking to run a little bit longer. Shortly you should see the pit strategy appear at the bottom of the screen, I would have thought. But we can we'll wait for that to show up. let's clear as much of this screen down as we can as we wait for these guys to head round their formation laps, get their cars in the window, and all 15 drivers to line up on the grid for the start of round 1 of this pre-season tournament. This is a sort of tournament where you're going to see who may well be able to put their stamp on LNR Season 3. You know, who's going to be potentially a consistent, quick driver. I'd expect Blum to get a good start, but personally, from off the line here, I'd be watching Quick Killers in that Red Bull because his starts so far have been impeccable. He's been very, very consistent, and it's going to be a long run. This is, in fact, one of, to be fair, they class turn 1 as the little kink to the right here, but really and truly, you're flat out through there anyway, down to the tight 90-degree right-hander of turn 2. So you're looking at a real long run to turn 1. So anyone who gets that slipstream in behind Blum could be in with a chance of nicking that P1 position off him before turn 2. Pit strategy was just there on the screen, lap 6 to 12. So you'd think maybe lap 6, 7 soft runners come in, maybe even lap 8 for Angry Dutch Guy, dependent on his gap and his positioning as to what he does there. Let's clear that away from the screen just to give you guys the best view of this race start as all of the drivers managed to find their grid boxes there. Bottom right of the screen, you can see Connor just taking his spot. 1 light then, and we have 5 lights, and the start of the pre-season tournament is go, 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 and we are racing here in Sochi as Blum gets a great start, but as we predicted, Quick Killers gets an absolute flying start along with RP Live. Blum moves slightly to try and cover that move off, but he's being swarmed, and all of a sudden Quick Killers has the lead by turn 2, but Blumchum looking to dive back up the inside. Quick Killers runs deep into that corner, takes the escape road. You've got to watch out for that because Sergio Perez made that very same mistake a couple of years ago in the Racing Point. Blumchum then controls the lead with how he managed to get that position back off of our Quick Killers, I do not know, but it's Blumchum from RP Lai, Ryan and Quick Killers dropping himself back to 4th, having taken the escape road. Further down the order then we see Angry Dutch Guy on Sir Jake trying to get the move done as he looks to the inside come the exit of turn 8 into turn 9, the little kink left down towards turn 10 they go now, and they file round into what would be the second DRS. And an Angry Dutch Guy hits the sausage curb on the inside, narrowly avoids the wall and loses out massively. So unfortunate for him that he just took the wrong line. But Connor, let's look at Connor, who started at the back of the pack. He's already up to P7. He's had an absolutely barnstorming start. He's now on the rear end of Grimmy's Mercedes as they head into the technical sector 3. And there, once again, we see the pit strategies. So soft runners, you're looking at lap 6. We'd expect to see a few of them come in. And there's a car off at the back of the circuit, and that's error 6, and he retires from the session. So he has just made an error in sector 3, and it looks like he is out of the session. So what do we have going on now? We've got a virtual safety car, so everyone stays out apart from Scotty in the first of the McLarens, who decides he's going to dive in the pits, put on an early set of mediums and stick the race out to the end. Stander as well, and Drew Cam equally, all 3 of those guys taking the option to jump in the pit lane early. Mechanical just coming in behind his teammate, manages to get that jump into the pit lane. Looks like he needs a new front wing as well, so took a light bit of damage. But we're going to jump back up to the start now because remember, these guys are all going to be under Delta pace. So we will be racing very, very shortly. We can see the 4 guys now at the back of the pack will be running the medium tyres, and we've got green flags around the circuit. So we are racing once more here in Sochi. Blum looking to try and retain his lead and just keep hold of it from RP Lai, who sits 4 tenths behind, 5 tenths, 6 tenths. So Blum is really putting the pressure on and really trying to give it some on those tyres before DRS is introduced. They've both got a 1.2 second lead over Ryan's Williams, who sits currently in P3, so a great start for him. Let's take a little look then on the details of the position changes, and it's Ryan and RP who are the big gainers from that, and Quick Killers down 2 positions. Grimmy there we can see making up 3 positions, but Connor, let's just look at Connor, who's sitting behind Sir Jake currently in the Ferrari up 8 positions, takes a bit of a deep line there. He's got Angry Dutch Guy to his left-hand side, and Angry Dutch Guy gets the move done around the outside of turn 17 as Connor decides now is the time that he's going to dive into the pit lane. He's made up 6 positions, has a little bit of time now to look at getting that stop done nice and early in expectation for a potential safety car that could help him out. Further back down the order then, up 4 places, is Jimmer. So he had his lap disqualified essentially from the start. As we can see, a change for the lead up top. Let's just jump back to that, and it's RP Lai now who leads this race in the Aston Martin, runs slightly wide on the entry into turn 4 as they head down towards turn 5 now. RP looking to try and keep it nice and steady. Blumchum really trying to chase. You can see that flashing red light on the rear there. He's rinsing that ERS. Let's try and stick on board with this little battle at the minute, because it's the tightest we've got going on to a degree for the race lead for sure. That's definitely one we want to stick with. But meanwhile, we've got Jimmer up 5 places, as I said. Connor managing to pit and still up 4 places, but he just picks up a 3-second time penalty as I say that, so that could potentially come into play. But unfortunate start there for Error 6 on lap 2 with that issue through sector 3. Just a bunch up of cars, I would assume, was the issue caused there. We didn't really see it. We saw it in the background of the stream, but we were unable to actually catch exactly what happened to him. As you can see, Connor now retiring from the session. So after a fantastic start, Connor has retired from the session. Let's jump on board with Mechanical and see exactly what's happened there. Virtual safety car's out, and Connor has managed to... Oh, that was close. That was close. You can see Connor's stricken car in the middle of the circuit. Looks like he's just lost it out of turn 8, maybe just clipped the exit curb on the kink of turn 9 and turned it into the wall. It's quite a common place around here for it all to go wrong. So we saw that virtual safety car elevated now to a full course safety car, and in doing so we've seen most of the field now has stopped. So anywhere from P5 downwards has decided to make their stop. With now, I would assume that is under the circumstance that RP Lai, Blumchum, Grimmy, possibly Angry Dutch Guy and Wolsey had all passed the start-finish straight, but we've got to remember that Angry Dutch Guy is on the medium tyre, so he will be hoping maybe to stay out, maybe another safety car to come along a little bit later on. But we've had 2 DNFs so far here in Sochi, as we see Scotty jumping in the pits again. Maybe he's opting for a soft compound of tyre to finish this race off. Not quite sure. I think you can make the soft compound of tyre last quite well around here. It's a very evenly balanced track. Although, would I want to run it for that amount of time? Yeah, probably. In the event of no other safety car, I think you have the pace to make something of it. And Mechanical once again also making a second stop here on lap 4. So safety car remains as these guys jump around to catch the queue up. Let's get the track map up now that we are into the race, and we'll get the full track map up in the bottom right so you guys can see what's happening. We've got RP Lai, Blum, both diving in the pit lane. As you can see in the bottom right, they are quite a way ahead of everyone else, having seen everyone else jump in the pit. So this means that everyone on the grid will have made their stop. So you would think they will see this race out now. And RP and Blumchum both leave the pit lane. Nose to tail. It's going to be an exciting restart. A restart around here is always very, very difficult. It's a tough place to get the restart right, because you've got to remember that you come round turn 18 and it's not very long. It's not a long run before the timing line, so you've got to pin that throttle before someone can get the jump on you. And you almost want to do it between turns 17 and 18, but make sure you get a good exit out of that final corner in order to get the jump right. Because, like we said earlier on, we've got a long run down to turn 2, and it's one of those drives where you'd almost feel, had you have not got that safety car restart done correctly, then people will catch you and you could be swarmed within seconds. Everyone's going to have a great deal of momentum, and by the time you've been passed by a couple of cars, you're not necessarily going to be able to get those positions back. So we ride here lap 5, still under safety car conditions. We'll let this plan out. I feel that we could be in this lap. You can see Bert Mylander still got his lights on top of that beautiful Aston Martin safety car. So we await the long-awaited restart now as we come round to start lap 6. I'm not quite sure on here where he'll turn the lights out. I've expected it by now on the entry to Sector 3, so it looks like we'll probably get another lap under safety car conditions. You can see everyone just trying to keep their tyres nice and warm, which is going to be massively key on the mediums around here, because Bert doesn't like to drive very quick round Sector 3 in Russia, so you will lose a lot of temperature as you enter that point. So you've got to really work that medium compound through Sector 2 between turns 10 and 13 to try and really get the temperature into the tyres and maintain it through Sector 3, because you're not going to be able to gain much heat before a restart. As you can see, look at Blunt there, really trying to warm those tyres up of that Ferrari, really just moving that car left to right, trying to get as much friction in as he can, trying to heat the brakes up. But equally, this entire time, you want to keep that engine kind of cool, buddy. Keep that kind of cool, get some optimum performance there as we ride on the helicopter, and we can see, look, it's beautiful there. You've got palm trees in Russia. Who'd have thought it? See, they're not all angry. Maybe they just like the Ukrainian border. Who knows? Maybe there's more palm trees there that they want to have a little look at. But either way, we digress, because it looks to me like we could well be seeing another racing lap very, very soon. So we're yet to see DRS in this race, but for those of you that don't know, you've got 2 DRS zones here in Sochi. You've got one just around Sector 1 down that start-finish straight as such, on the end of that start-finish straight towards turn 2, and you've then got one at the very beginning of or midway through the midpoint of Sector 2 down towards Sector 3 between turns 10 and 13, and ever so the DRS straights are ridiculously long here, so they are very, very powerful. We're not necessarily going to have to worry about any undercuts as such, because everyone's had essentially a free stop. So here we go. Race control says safety car is in this lap, so we will get another lap of racing. Let's get some info up on the screen then as we prepare for a race restart. Let's try and get rid of the pit stop information. Try and get rid of that. And prepare ourselves for the last half of this race, which so far has been not as exciting as I was necessarily expecting. But it ain't over yet. So let's take another swig of beer and just check out when RP Lai is going to make that restart. He goes now. Turns 17 to 18. Like I said, he's made sure he's got it early. And look, he's got a jump on Blum. He's got 8 tenths on him now as it stands. And Blum is now going to be a sitting duck for Quick Killers behind him in that Red Bull. So let's ride on board. Let's just see exactly what's going on there. Let's have a little look on board with Quick Killers. Has he got enough momentum? No, he doesn't. He sits 3 tenths behind Blum's Ferrari. So he's not going to be able to make a move. But further down the order, we've got moves being made behind Angry Dutch Guy and Jimmer battling it out. Angry Dutch Guy now 2 tenths off of Sir Jake in that Williams. So reserve driver Sir Jake for this season, who's looking for a full-time seat. And there's Angry Dutch Guy making that lunge in on the brakes. And Jimmer swerves to the outside of him. Oh, that was close. That was close. Excellent reactions there from Jimmer. Race control give a 3-second time penalty for Sir Jake there for corner cutting or track limits as such. So he'll be picking up a penalty, which is exactly Not what you want to be doing straight after a safety car restart, because it puts you under all sorts of pressure to pull a 3-second gap from the cars behind you. But meanwhile, we've got Angry Dutch Guy there once again hitting that sausage curb. And will that allow him to really keep the same momentum down that back straight? It looks like he'll just be able to hold off the Alpha Tauri of Jimmer as they enter Sector 3. And there's a little bit of a shunt there into the back of the Williams of Sir Jake, who manages to hold his position. A little bit of a love tap, which I think Angry Dutch Guy may have taken some damage there. Jimmer worms his way up the inside. There we see it, the end plate, the left front end plate of that Haas of Angry Dutch Guy now missing. So he will need to dive into the pits again, which is something he's not going to want to do, but he sticks it out. He's going to stay out there on circuit and see exactly what he can salvage from this race, as he sits 9/10 off of the rear end of the Alpha Tauri already. He's now got Wolsey, Grimmy and Drew all bunching up behind him. In fact, this could be a bit of a move here, because you're going to see Grimmy and Wolsey both fighting for that one position. They're both going to try and capitalise on each other as Angry Dutch Guy runs deep, picks himself up a 3-second time penalty. Remember, he has got the pace advantage on those soft tyres, but it's going to be the downforce he'll be suffering with around these long left-hand turns as he shuts the door on Wolsey, who's all over the rear end of the Haas. Exciting stuff, and you can see Grimmy just stepping that Mercedes out, taking a little look up the inside, thinks better of it and filters back in behind. Angry Dutch Guy runs deep into that turn. Wolsey can't quite capitalise because he's got to think about defending, and all this time it allows Scotty to jump onto the rear end of the battle pack there, and they run as 4 running for P7. Angry Dutch Guy once again running wide and very, very close to the wall on the exit of turn 9. You can see that he's really struggling there for downforce now as he runs down that back straight. It looks like Wolsey may well get the job done. We ride on board with him, looking to the left. He's going to have the inside line down into Sector 3 on the medium tyre. Albert's not going to have the downforce as he keeps the position on the inside. Wolsey trying to make it look easy around the outside and gets the move done eventually. So Wolsey will now be hoping that he can escape up the road as quick as possible, whilst that Angry Dutch Guy holds off the remainder of that battle pack. Will Albert be pitting now? Looks like he is. Yes, he's just gone into the pit lane, so there wasn't much longer he could hold out without that end plate. The downforce difference was just too much for him to handle around those long turns, and it just wasn't quite going to work. As you can see, Wolsey just trying to break the toe of Grimmy, who sits eagerly behind him waiting for him to make a mistake in that Alpine. Nicely taken around turn 2 as he heads round the long left-hander of turn 3. Mechanical retiring from the session then. Looks like he's had an issue, and I would assume that's a pit lane retirement. So unfortunately for him, that will be the end of his race here in Sochi. Let's just jump back up to the top and see exactly what we've got going on here. Blumchum now sitting just over a second away from RP Lie. Has still got the DRS on him though, so he will be able to close that gap, but will he be able to keep that gap close enough through Sector 3 to pick it up after turn, or through turn 1, I say. Is that kink on the right is actually classed as a turn, believe it or not. So here we go then to begin lap number 10. RP Lie still proving his dominance here in LNR with what looks to be a very, very commanding race so far. And there we go, we can see Blum does have the DRS, but just doesn't quite have the legs to take the race lead. Is he going to be able to sit behind him though? He's 3/10 back from the Aston Martin of RP Lie. So he'll be looking to try and close in. Maybe this is part of the game plan. We've seen it done before. I myself done it in China last week. Sat behind Ryan, I thought, for a couple of laps. Didn't want him getting the fight back under DRS, so I sat behind him. But you've got to remember that Blum has got the pressure being piled on. Well, he will have the pressure soon enough being piled on by Quick Killers, who is sitting right behind the pair of them, just waiting for his little opportunity. So we can see that going on. Let's just jump back a little bit further down the order to this other battle that was going on, and that is Grimmy and Wolsey, as Drew Cam having a little battle further back with Stander. Stander's Mercedes now has on the soft, the compound of tyre gets a better run. We'll have the momentum out of there, but Drukan managing to hold off and get the move sorted. Sticks that move. Grimmy, meanwhile, making the move on Wolsey down the DRS straight in towards Sector 3. The pair of these guys have been going at it for the past few laps. It looks like Grimmy's finally got the move done. Dives it deep into turn number 15. And Wolsey sticking to the rear end of that Mercedes will have DRS the next time around. So expect another move to be coming very, very, very shortly. So we'll stick on board with this and just see exactly how close he can stay to Grimmy. Not looking like he's got an excellent exit out of there or out of turn 18. So Grimmy will get away up the road. Wolsey, however, will open his DRS wing any second now. There we go. The wing opens as they head down now towards turn 1. The next move behind will be Stander on Drew. Now, Stander has managed to get that move done against Drew again. And look at this. We've got Sir Jake, who's off the circuit now at turn 1. Looks like his car is parked off the circuit there. He's got it going again, so... Oh, no, we've got a retirement there, so that's not overly brilliant. Don't be doing that on track, people. We can't be having retirements on circuit. Because that will cause issues. And that's Stander now, who's another retirement from the session. We can see, looks like he's done exactly the same as what we saw from Connor. We'll ride on board with Angry Dutch Guy, who's currently running P10, to see exactly what's happened there. I assume we'll come around this corner. He probably clipped the exit curb there, and there's the Mercedes, and Albert not quite expecting it to be there, it would seem, as he tries to get a lick on to catch the rest of the pack. But anyway, we start lap 12 with the leaders here, and it's still the same sort of gap. RP Lai just holding that position very well, using his ERS. Let's take a little look then a bit more at exactly what we've got going on in the likes of the telemetry. So RP Lai then, looking at the bottom of your screens, has 6% ERS left, and Tom Blum has 5%. Behind them, Quick Killers sitting pretty with 17%. So you'd think the Red Bull of Quick Killers is looking like a potential that he could gain a position here. He's just sitting this one out. Are we going to see some last lap moves taking place? In the meantime, though, we've had very unfortunate to have five DNFs. As such as Scotty makes himself a position, gets P9 from Albert, who's once again in the pit lane. I don't know if he suffered some more damage, but it's not been an absolutely brilliant race for him so far. As I say, it seems to be a fairly spread out pack at the minute. The real battle we've got here is for P1, 2 and 3, which are your main, who doesn't want a last lap battle for victory. As we ride on board now with Blumchum, who has got the DRS on RP Lai, just managing to close that gap. In the past we've seen it close down to about 3/10. There we are again, 3/10, but then RP Lai seems to be mightily quick round the last section of Sector 1 and into Sector 2, so he seems to hold his own very well there, which is not what Blumchum wants. Blumchum's going to see him make a mistake, I should say. I'm getting my words all jumbled up because I'm getting a bit excited as to what exactly is going to happen, but Blumchum managing to hang on to the back of the Aston Martin. Let's ride on board and see exactly how he's going to be seeing this situation. Let's get rid of that and that and enjoy the last lap of this race, because this is the battle now for the championship lead in the pre-season tournament. It's RP Lai then, who looks like he's got one hell of a run down towards Sector 3. He's not really going to be challenged much unless Blum makes himself a daring move up the inside into the last couple of turns, but I think round one, I don't think he will. He's gotten very close to the rear end of that Aston Martin. He's going to be looking to hang on to the back end. I think this is how it will finish. I think we'll end up with RP Lai taking P1, Blumchum P2, and Quick Killers P3 from there. Quick Killers obviously with the penalty, so unfortunately for him, he's not going to want to necessarily capitalise on anything. This is down to these two boys, but it is RP Lai, your current tournament champion, your tournament holder from Christmas, who takes the opening round here in Sochi, and it's Blumchum who finishes P2, Quick Killers P3, and Jimmer in P4. Grimmy finishes P5, Woolsey P6, and Drew Cam P7. Remember, Grimmy and Woolsey treating us to an excellent battle a few laps ago. Ryan finishes P8. It would seem dependent on penalties. We're just going to see exactly how that works out. But Ryan P8, Scotty P9, and Angry Dutch Guy rounding out the top 10. So your top 10 points positions there. Ryan setting the fastest lap, so you should get an extra point there. An excellent piece of work, but I can only assume that may be what Angry Dutch Guy is going for. So we're going to actually skip down and have a little look as he comes across the line. Get the detail of the lap data up if we can. Lap data, there we go. So I believe Ryan just got a 132 or 131. So it won't be fastest lap necessarily for Angry Dutch Guy. Mr. JC in the chat, wish you could have raced like that when he was my teammate. I know, tell me about it. So there is your podium for round one, and it's RP Lai taking that top spot once again. We saw how quick he was throughout season 2, but it's Blumchum who takes P2 and Quick Killers in P3. So the fastest lap then did in the end go to Ryan with a 1:33.1. But it's RP Lai from third on the grid to first. Blumchum dropping that pole spot and taking P2, which once again though is not a bad start to this evening's event. P3 goes the way of Quick Killers, and up from 13th to P4 it's Jimmer. So some good points earned there for the AlphaTauri driver. P5 goes the way of Grimmy, up 3 places from 8th, and much the same for Woolsey, up 3 places from 9th. Those two treating us to a right battle all the way through there, which was excellent to see from the pair of them guys, going fairly hard but fair, and that's what we like to see here. Drew Cam finishing P7, Ryan finishing P8. P9 goes the way of one of our commentators, Scotty in the McLaren, who's dropped a couple of positions from P6, making 3 stops along the way, and Angry Dutch Guy finishes in P10. Drivers we lost there were Stander, Sir Jake, Mechanical, Connor, and Error 6, unfortunately, on that opening lap. Your tournament standings then, as we can see here, RP Lai takes the first round with 25 points, Blumchum sitting in behind on 18. Quick Killers 15, Jimmer 12, and Grimmy with 10 points. As you can see there, you can see on the far right hand side, you can see the gap, and the left hand side numbers are the points earned from this round. So if you reverse that, flip it round, we're going to see RP Lai starting from the back of the grid in the next round. Standard F1 point scoring, it would seem, from this round here, but Ryan there picking up an extra point for that fastest lap. So we're just going to wait before this heads back to the lobby, and hopefully we will get race 2 underway very, very shortly. Please bear with us, and I'll be right back. So, looks like we're about to get underway then for race 2 this evening, which is going to be taking place, as you can see on the left-hand side of the screen there, in Belgium. The legendary Spa. Home to Eau Rouge, Radion, all sorts, all your favourite corners. And in actual fact, it's one that we raced, I think, back in season 1. I believe it was season 1 we raced it. But it's a 4.3 mile circuit, so once again, another fairly long circuit, but one that people do very much enjoy. So we just wait for the drivers to load themselves into the lobby. But Spa, once again, very, very famous circuit for multiple racing disciplines. It is home to the 24-hour series. It has 12 hours of Spa, the FIA World Endurance Championships, various different GT series, including the Endurance Cup, the GT4 European Series, of course, F1 and F2, and equally the Dutch Tour and Wagon Masters and the World Rallycross Championship as well, because they do have, I believe, a rallycross circuit in the middle of the infield. So, meanwhile, we can see the drivers now getting themselves ready. You can see the cars there on the left-hand side, just hitting up that grid. Looks like we've got a little bit of an overcast setting going on here. The weather is set to dynamic, so anything could happen. And I mean anything. As we see the drivers head off on their formation lap. So, as I said earlier on, we've got a reverse championship order grid, and the grid for this round looks very much like this. So, lining up in P1, we have Angry Dutch Guy in the Haas. P2 goes to Sir Jake in the Williams, and P3 sees Error 6 in his Williams. P4 goes the way of Jimmer. P5 to Scotty. P6, in fact, I think Jimmer may well be in the wrong position on the grid there, because P6 has gone the way of Connor. Ryan, P7, Mechanical, P8, and P9 to RP Live. P10 goes the way of Wolsey. 11th to Blumsham. In fact, I think Dan's got the grid completely bloody wrong here, because P12 goes the way of Grimmy, Sander in P13, Quick Killers 14th, and Drew Cam 15th. So I think he had one job here. He had one job. So I think the plan is we're going to keep going. I'm not sure exactly what the plan is here. We're going to just wait and see what the guys are going to do. I think the plan is to retire from the session here so they can sort the grid out, which could be a bit of an issue, but we shall see. So we will just wait and see exactly what happens, because the grid doesn't seem to be set up right at all. We should have RP lie down the back, followed by Blum in 14th. I had a feeling when I got to Jimmer there in 4th, I'm thinking, hang on. So we are going to wait and see if these guys all retire, in which case we will reset the grid and we will be right back. It's a bit of an inconvenience. as everyone seems to be getting off the line. There's an Alpine going across the circuit, and lots of mastery. I think people just trying to retire each other. Everyone ploughing into turn one. That's our tribute to Meatloaf done like a bat out of hell, and it looks like Scotty, Mechanical, and Sir Jake are all still going there. So hopefully these boys get the idea in just a second that we will be retiring from this race and potentially moving it around on the calendar. So we are now waiting for the two McLaren drivers to retire. And there we go. So theoretically, so that race unfortunately was a red flag. We're going to be, I assume, we're just waiting to hear. We're just waiting to see exactly how we're going to deal with this. We're going to reset the lobby. We will then be adding the points to the end for Russia. That is how we're going to work this. It's easier to add them on a new lobby than it is on a previous one. So we can work this out. We can still work this out at the end of the night. But I'm going to take a very, very short break, and we'll be right back with you.